Hi, I'm Trey Smith, and this is my YouTube channel, Trey's Myths and Tunes, and my daily show, Trey's Timeless 15 Minutes Explained. Today, my discussion is called Why Most Heroes Are Psychopaths. It's just like the one trying to rescue or surveil me right now. Probably. But you overstand? With the power of soul, anything is possible. With the power of you, anything you wanna do. Bring it down and a boom boom. Who don't really care about you? Bang it, burn it, a boom boom. Bang it down and a boom boom. Now, now. God bless you, please, Mrs. Robinson. Jody Joe is left and gone away. And the clone is all you see when they address you through the teleprompter scene. Boo-doo-boo-doo-boo. Boo-doo-boo-doo-boo. We'd like to help you learn to help yourself. Why most heroes and rescuers are self-possessed psychopaths? It's obvious. You see, they learn from the master self-possessed psychopath, the demiurge, and all the Saturnian inverted heroes of history who changed the history books after they rescued and demolished the previous cultures. So that's what they were taught heroes are supposed to do. My spirit guides warned me not to go on the teat. I was collecting cans for most of my income. They had to beg me for 3 years because I knew subconsciously how deadly this exoteric hero is. I didn't want it. However, I also knew that I could use it as a research project, a self-healing project, to become myself, which I'm in the process of now. To the guy, to my loyal fan, to one of my few students and teachers who watches all my material, man, Alcoholics Anonymous has helped a lot of people, and maybe it's a good idea for you to go and take the rehabilitation from the employer. However, I would say that also discern that I don't know the job or the employer, but if the employer again has respect for you, and this goes to the kernel of my talk here, and it's one of the four immeasurables which I constantly bring up and preach often on this channel, which comes from the teachings of the Buddha, which is joy, friendliness, compassion, and equanimity. Equanimity is the one I'm going to talk about today and many other videos, and that's the one I lack often, and coming from a narcissistic personality disorder I had as a younger person, and these parasites in the ego. So if this guy who's your boss, if you feel that he's going to treat you as an equal, or at least with equal respect, if he's never going to treat you as a financial equal or allow you to own part of the company or let you, become the CEO or manager or whatever, just so that he respects you, I mean, so it all goes on back to intent. So I just was watching a Mark Passio presentation he made right after the lockdown. And he's really passionate. He says, "No one, no one has the right to rule over others." So these self-appointed rescuers, they're always usually coming with the dogma of the church or the government or the rescuer non-government agency group. Um, the belief in the legitimacy of the master class and the slave class is what caused the lockdown. And I venture to say what has come between me and this person who literally, if you consider giving someone a little bit of money or a good amount of money or a motel or a work trade, that they saved my life, I would say 10 times. But because they're born again, supposed Christian, or what Passio calls a churchian, even though they don't go to church, I am lower because I live in the tent, because I'm not willing to be a slave to the demiurge. I'm just guessing, in their subconscious mind. Even my friend that many people think of as a hero because he gives out cannabis to homeless and disabled people all the time, and once in a while at least. And but he openly says while he's doing it, "I'm doing this to help my karma," which I'm immediately thinking, well, if you really want to help your karma, you should be doing it because you want to. Because if you say it's just to help your karma, it might help your karma, but it's a classic example on a more harmless level of how self-possessed a hero can be. He's got the Aries and the Moon, so it's hard for him not to get like that. Again, always the exoteric hero is a form of you being hooked on the dark side. And of course, what prompted me to make this video was my best pseudo friend, or my best hero friend in the last 12 years. I've been helping them an hour a week, and just for trade. And when they forget me, forget to tell me they're not going to come for 2 weeks after they promised they would. I made a video about what I believe happened the last week. It's really sad. Just having the ego or this hero ideation. It's hard for the individual or a lot of people to again. The zodiac sign is really notorious. I think it's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. If they're not enlightened, it's this shadow character they can't see, and it's really sad. And I hope they can heal. So it is a welfare check on symptom suppression for a social life, for someone who gets that, or even if in this case or other cases they could actually heal or suppress or get rid of their or use ganja to get rid of their whatever their illness was physically, whereas a person could stagnate socially. Again, if they're not willing to participate in humanity, I hope to help some of these fools, but I don't expect to. There's one of them that told me they're going to watch the videos on their flat screen on their big TV, so maybe that'll help get the truth in their head deeper. The guy that had the NPD that I live with had the really strong hero ideation. The guy I made the videos about that got all the watches, and his mom's a realtor. He's in the Hare Krishna cult, and he had this rescuer ideation. He's going to rescue me. And he attempted to have a permanent extortion by adding interest to the debt when I run up a debt with him, and ran up a debt. And also, he had this huge, massive bag of small buds and trim. He'd get 2 pounds for $50 or whatever in the room with me, and he said, "Well, you can just smoke whatever you want of that." And then I don't know, several years later, after he did a few years in the slammer for selling weed, and he was short on the rent, so he came up and tried to physically intimidate me into giving him money. He begged me to give him money for rent, and that entity was like actually controlling his personality, and it was really sad. because they call it an Indian giver. Like he told me he was giving me something, and then so in this case, what I'm dealing with this dear beloved friend of mine with the this severe shadow in their ego is that you know I allowed them to rescue me financially to buy me a ticket to go to Kauai when I thought I was gonna get locked in California if I didn't leave, and so in March 2020, so many times they've kind of saved my life by helping me to get a Greyhound or a train ticket several times, a motel, but the hero always usually comes with a hook or a shadow. In this case, the person's husband seemed to not care at all, and now they've hired this person with a law degree who proclaims, or she's told me that is a wonderful preacher with the church who never. I actually told the man in a calm voice, I don't believe you're a Christian because you never treated me like a Christian, you know. He's actually competing with me, literally stole my work trade out from under me, and literally. And again, I feel like because the Saturn Cube Tech, the husband would be a Capricorn if it were the new zodiac, where me, I'm a Ophiuchus. And so the man's like, fits the bill of responsible. He's at the law degree, paid the heavy San Francisco rent, runs a church, and cell phone in a car. He's can ride over to the farm and pick up the truck, and all those things that I couldn't do, or they simply because they didn't trust me because I'm dependent. And then so to demote me basically psychically or emotionally to becoming more dependent. That's what you have to look forward to if you let some exoteric hero, whether it's Jesus or Quetzalcoatl or Krishna or your friend, here rescue you. Now, one caveat I have to that is, if they have equanimity, okay? The traditions I will teach you that I believe are real are some of the very few traditions that weren't infiltrated by the dark side. The reptilian Dracos and Anunnaki controllers. And they always brought forth hierarchy. Better than, worse than. I'm a Christian and you're down there, heathen. Let me give you a handout. Here, and if you can repent and be a good slave, then we will let you be our slave. No, no, I'm a Gnostic. The true power is in the real church, but it's the congregation within here. As Yeshua the Master, Christ, truly said to the disciples, when the light becomes one, and your body becomes a one. In other words, I don't remember the exact words, but when all of your chakras become of one light, that's when you become enlightened. You don't have this duality. The zetas, the others cannot distract you, cannot make you judge me as unworthy, as less than, as a heathen, because I'm innocent, because I'm not a slave, or resent me because you're jealous subconsciously. All that. $7,000 a month rent for a desert farm is a lot of dinero. So I think eventually the people here are going in this state are going to have to go, well, we don't have the money to keep being wage slaves and property tax slaves. And this is why most of the freedom, what Mark Passio calls the freedom, my freedom movement, not just because the city of Santa Cruz is Aries, but yes, because they refuse to watch my videos. All these people, because they don't want to learn the truth. It intimidates them when I bring it up. So I'm here to help you learn to help yourself. Is why I wanted to sing that Garfunkel song for the intro. Why? Because I'm not here to rescue you. I'm not your hero. Jesus is not your hero. The Christ, the Buddha, no one is your hero. It's the Christ within, the Gnostic teaching. It's the wisdom. It's the discernment. It's the self-respect. It's becoming I tall. And if you're going to be a robot slave, I don't know what to say to that from the perspective of my wisdom. However, I do know Many blessings and one love to you all. And subscribe if you like that.